I know exactly what you are thinking. You walked into the kitchen this morning, still half asleep, and there it was. A thin, dark line moving across the counter, running from a crack near the window down to one crumb beside the sink. Every ant in single file, every one of them headed the same direction with a purpose you cannot quite see. And your first instinct, completely understandable, is to reach for a paper towel or a bottle of spray and wipe the whole line away before you have even had your coffee. Before you do that, I need you to stop for 1 second, because the ants crossing your counter are not raiding your kitchen at random. They are following a map, and that map is telling you something about your own home that you could not learn any other way. Most people look at a trail of ants and see chaos, a swarm of tiny insects that wandered in from outside. The truth is almost the reverse. What you are looking at is one of the most organized systems on the planet, and once you understand what it is really doing, you will never look at that line the same way again. If this story is already changing the way you see the ants in your kitchen, take a second to hit the like button and subscribe. Drop a comment and let me know where in the world you are watching from, and if there is an ant trail somewhere in your home right now, tell me where it is headed. I read every single one. Start with the thing everyone gets wrong. The ant is not the animal. The colony is the animal. The ants you can see, the ones marching across your counter, are less than a fraction of 1% of something much larger, and the rest of it is hidden. Somewhere behind your wall, under a floorboard, or below the foundation of your house, there is a queen. There are eggs, there are larvae, and there are thousands of workers you will never lay eyes on. The line on your counter is not the colony visiting your kitchen. It is closer to a single finger reaching out from a body in the next room. Each ant on that trail is nearer to a cell than to an individual. It carries no plan of its own. It has never seen the queen give an order, because the queen gives none at all. And yet the whole system behaves as if something intelligent were directing it. How that works is where this gets strange. In 1959, a young biologist named Edward O. Wilson watched a fire ant do something small that would take him years to fully explain. When one ant found food, it walked back toward the nest, dragging the tip of its abdomen along the ground, leaving an invisible chemical line behind it. Other ants, crossing that line, turned and followed it straight to the food. Wilson had found the trail pheromone. The dark line you see on your counter is written in scent before it has ever walked in single file. Every ant that reaches the food and decides it is worth the trip lays down more of the chemical on the way home, strengthening the signal. If the food runs out, the ants stop reinforcing it. The scent evaporates, and the trail simply comes apart. No ant decided any of this. The path built itself out of thousands of small yes or no choices, and it will take itself apart the same way. And it goes further than one chemical. For more than 30 years, a biologist named Deborah Gordon has returned to the same stretch of desert in the American Southwest to study a single population of harvester ant colonies. And what she found overturns almost everything people assume about how these animals work. There is no ant in charge. There is no supervisor, no ant holding a blueprint of the day's tasks. A colony decides how many workers to send out for food and how many to keep digging or cleaning the nest. And it makes every one of those decisions with no one in command. Each ant simply reacts to how often it bumps into other ants and what they smell like. A forager returning full of food brushes past waiting ants, and the rate of those small encounters tells the colony, without a single word, that the food is good and more should go. Out of thousands of these brief contacts, a decision emerges that no individual ant could ever make on its own. The colony is smarter than any ant inside it, and that same intelligence is now pointed straight at your kitchen. If you are still with me, do this video a small kindness. Hit subscribe and turn on the bell so you do not miss the next one. This channel only keeps going because people share these videos, and I do not take that for granted. Tag someone who reaches for the spray the second they see a line on the counter, and let them see what that line is really for. Here is what the ants know that you do not. They know your home better than you do. That line did not appear by accident. Ants move along the path of least resistance toward two things above all others: water and food. And to reach them, they will find every gap, every seam, every hairline crack in your home that you have walked past for years without noticing. Where the trail comes in is an opening you did not know was there. Where the trail ends is the real message. It might be a crumb, but more often it is the sticky ring left by a jar, a few grains of sugar caught in a counter seam, a pet bowl, or the slow drip under a pipe that has been feeding a patch of damp inside your wall. The colony has surveyed your kitchen more thoroughly than you ever will, and the trail is the readout. It is a working map of every place your home is open, wet, or unclean, drawn for you in real time by an animal that cannot be fooled and does not get tired. Which is exactly why killing the ants you can see accomplishes nothing. You are not looking at the colony. You are looking at its errand runners. Wipe them off the counter, and the queen behind your wall keeps laying eggs, untouched, and within a few days, a fresh trail forms along the same route. You are swatting the messengers and leaving the message unread. With some common household species, the ones that give off a faint coconut smell when crushed, stress can even push a colony to split into new nests, so a heavy hand makes the problem larger instead of smaller. The ants on your counter are the symptom. They have never been the source. And it is worth remembering what these animals are when they are not in your kitchen, outside your walls. Ants are among the most important creatures on Earth. In many dry parts of the world, they turn and move more soil than earthworms do, pulling air and water down into the ground. They carry and plant seeds. They clear away dead insects and animals before anything can rot. And they hunt, in enormous numbers, the caterpillars, fleas, and other pests that would otherwise overrun a garden. People have known this for a very long time. As early as the year 300, farmers in southern China were carrying nests of weaver ants into their citrus trees and stringing bamboo bridges between the branches so the ants could move from tree to tree and guard the fruit. That is living pest control, in use more than 1,700 years ago. The colony under your foundation is doing that same work every day. The handful of foragers in your kitchen are a small errand from an animal that is mostly, and genuinely, on your side. They also have no interest in you. The common ants that come indoors, the small brown and black ones tracing your counters, are not there to bite, and most of them cannot deliver anything you would even feel. You are not food. You are not a threat. You are simply a large, warm shape between them and a crumb, and they will route around you without a second thought. The unease you feel watching that line move is real, but it is not a warning. It is only the sight of an animal doing its job in a place you did not expect to see it. So what do you actually do? You read the map, and then you close it. Follow the line to the point where it comes in, and seal that gap. Then wipe the trail itself with soapy water or a little vinegar, because plain wiping smears the ants but leaves the invisible scent behind, and the chemical is what they are truly following. Erase the scent, and the ones still outside lose the path completely. Put away the food, wipe the sticky ring, fix the slow leak, and the reason for the trail is simply gone. Do that, and the line dissolves on its own within days, not because you killed anything, but because there is nothing left to report. And if a single scout wanders across your counter now and then, the most useful thing you can do is let it be. It is checking, the way it always has, whether your kitchen is worth telling the others about. The line you almost wiped away this morning was not an invasion. It was information. It was a message written in chemistry across your counter by an animal that has been surveying your home patiently and precisely for longer than you have lived in it. The next time you find one, take 1 second before you reach for anything. A thin, dark line, thousands of small decisions, and a map of your own house that nothing else could have drawn for you. That is not something to wipe away without looking. That is something to read. Have you ever followed an ant trail to see where it was really going, and found something in your own kitchen you had no idea was there? Thank you for staying to the last word. If this changed the way you see the smallest visitors in your home, the next video is already up on your screen, and I think it will hit the same way. Subscribe if you have not yet, and I will see you in the next one.